Hello everyone, welcome back. So far we just discussed the drawing commands in AutoCAD. In order to be able to draw a shape, we need to know the drawing commands. Now we will shift to another part of the home ribbon, which we call the modify commands. Now the draw group mainly used to draw an object. Modify mainly made for modifying the drawings. Now let's say someone is giving a drawing, it will ask you to do some modification on the drawing. That's what will happen. Since always in engineering, when we have a drawing, it is not just finished at the first draft. You will draw it, give it to the client, will have some modification, give it back to you. Well, this is, we call it modification. Now you're not going to redraw the shape from the beginning, you will modify by using those commands here. So the main idea of modify group is for modification. There's something you want to change it, or while you're practicing, while you're drawing something, you made a mistake, or there is some excess part. Let's say that there is a way that you want to modify it while even you drawing in the first time. Let's say that I drew something here. Let's say I drew something here and there is a circle here. Now I want to move one of them close to this one, or at least take them somewhere. I don't want to delete them. I already drew the shape, so the easy way, for example, I can move this one here or this one here. Or let's say that there is a part of this circle, for example, a part of this circle, let's say we want to delete this part of the circle. So far we explained that deleting, you can select the object and delete it, but how would you be able to delete a portion of this one or this excess part? Those all we call them modification. You have a drawing and you modify them. You modify the drawing. So I'm just going to show it to you. For example, if I go, for example, I can simply manage trimming or the excess part I wanted to delete them. Now we're going to teach you these things, how to be able, look, this looks like an arc, yes, but you saw it in the beginning was a circle, but I used something, it turned to an arc. So modifying toolbar, beside modification, they can also be used to draw. They can be used in helping us while drawing. You will use them more than the drawing toolbars. You will use drawing toolbars, but mainly you will focus on those because while drawing, you'll have a lot of modification, a lot of things that those will make your life much easier. Remember, please, a reminder, so far we're just teaching you the program. Later we'll bring the engineering drawing techniques, the language, reading, and some difficulties that you're facing while drawing. Remember, we have to teach you some ideas in engineering drawing. It's just not drawing a shape. Sometimes within the shape there are something unknown. As engineer we can find them easily, so we'll teach you those things later. Now let's focus on some of the commands that will make our life easier. So in chapter 3 we have two parts, modifying toolbar. We'll start with chapter 2, part 2 of chapter 3, because there are some commands I would like to have them before the exam. Then after exam we'll cover the rest of the modifying toolbars. Now, modifying toolbar in part 2, we're gonna take fillet mirror. I will discuss offset at least for now to see how we can use those commands and how they can help us in drawing. Now we'll start with fillet command. Now within the modifying toolbar, this is, if you open this one, there's two of them, and blend curves, I'm not discussing them, but we'll go for fillet and chamfer. Now the way that it is, the icon, if you look at it, it's kind of round corner. Now fillet, the easiest way to explain fillet is a tan arc. So I'm going to just write it here. It is tan arc. This will help us a lot to understand that. So fillet, basically it's tan arc. This is, you can think of it as a command for drawing tan arc. Beside this one, it will do something else. Mainly fillet made for what? To make round corners. But I would like to explain it in a way that is tan arc. Now, what does that mean? If you have objects, for example, those are at the bottom, you can use fillet to get to the shapes at the bottom. And what does that mean? That means any corner that you have, a two object, you can sharp corner. This is, for example, here we have a sharp corner here, we convert it to a round corner. There is a sharp corner, look, we change it to our round corner, sharp, round. Here, for example, these two, it's kind of something sharp, but it will be more smoother. Why? Because there will be an arc there. Or even those two, for example, they are not even connected, we can just simply connect them with an arc. Here, for example, those two, I can connect them with an arc. Now fillet basically is connecting two objects with a circle. The circle, it will be shown as arc because this is a circle. Yes, it will be a circle like this. Any of these corners, if you look at them, it's a circle. Well, we know that arc is a part of circle, so fillet indeed is connecting two objects with an arc. So any two objects that you have you can connect them with an arc, and the arc will have what property? Tangent to both of them, tangent to both the object. So if you look at here, this is tangent here, this is tangent here, and you have a radius for this arc. I'm sure that you've done if you have practiced within the exercises I gave it there is an example. Let me just show it to you. Now some students, they use this idea to draw. We had a lot of curved or round corner. They found the center of the circle and they used arc using start, center, end. For example, start, center, end, to draw this corner like this. Why? Because it is not sharp, it's a round corner. So they found, if you are one of them, most probably did the same manner. You found the center for the arc, then you use the start and center or radius in order to do it. Then we had to delete those parts, and this one you have to what? simply manage it to come back to the beginning of the arc. Yes, you have to come back to the beginning of the arc. Why? Because it will be a round corner. Look, this is a part of the circle which is tangent to this line, tangent to this line, and has a radius. So all of these things I've done it here. So let's say I have this one. Let's say it was, excuse me, say it was like this in the beginning. In order, like, I had to do all of these things in order just to make it round. Why? Because if I don't know fillet, I had to do like this to find its center and use R to do these things for me. So the easy way to do it, we're gonna use fillet command to see how fillet command is gonna help us to do this round corner. Now for me here, I will use 100, but if you're practicing, you have to practice on an example which is given in the lecture note. Do not just practice like this, because it might not happen in your case. I know how much the radius is supposed to be here, that's why, but if you're practicing randomly, it might not happen to you. You might not see anything. I'll tell you why. Now, so remember, if you see any round corner, which you know its radius, for example, I know the radius of this one, it's 100 for me. I know the radius is 100. So I can convert this directly to this one without, look, without drawing, finding center. I can directly convert this corner to this by using fillet. So we're going to activate fillet here. Make sure that it is not the second one or the third one. It's fillet. Now when you activate fillet, it will ask you select first object. Now do not proceed. You have to read the bottom here. Current setting, look at here, say current setting, radius is 0. By itself is trim. I'll talk about trim later. Radius is 0. Well, we want to make this round corner, yes, so we'll have to change its radius to the radius that we wanted. Well, within the object, within the command line, we have some options. The options that we have it here, one of them is radius. Yes, you can see it here, select first object or undo polyline radius trim multiple. So we're going to click on radius. Why? Because we have to give radius then. So make sure you're reading here. Radius is 0, so you have to give radius. I can type R, that stands for radius, hit enter. Now it will ask me specify fillet radius. Let's say for me here 150. It's okay for this drawing. Now, because as soon as I hit enter, I typed 150 for the radius, it will ask me select first object. So I'm going to select this line. Then it will ask me select second object. Look, as soon as I hover the mouse over this one, it will tell me this will be the case if you click. You will even delete this small part. So if I click here, directly, this is tangent here with 150. Even it delete these two small parts for me. It delete the small part here. So the shape that you have them in model, whenever you see a round corner, imagine it before it was a sharp corner, then fillet can be used to convert it to the round corner. If you have a rectangle, let's say this rectangle, it's 400 by 800. Let's make it okay. Let's say I have a rectangle. This is big rectangle. I'm just practicing something. Now I will activate fillet. Now the radius is 0. I'll click on the radius. Let's say I'm gonna reuse radius 10. Now this will happen to you if you draw randomly like this. This might happen to you. So I want you to know that. I want to make a radius 10. Hit enter. I'll click at this line. I want to make all the corners to be all the corners to be round. So if I click here, this line, then click on the second line, I still can see it. It's very small, but small. I mean, if you don't know, if you put something small, you might not even see it. You might not see it. Okay, it is there, yes, but it's small. It is small. Now if I do reverse it, I will again fillet. I'll go for the radius. Let's say I'm gonna go for 100. 100 might be, we can see it here. Now if I click here, and then the other one, I can see 100 will be something like this. So the procedure for fillet, you're activating fillet, you will give the radius. You first check if the radius is 100. I mean, if this is the radius you wanted, that's okay. No need to repeat the radius to put 100 again, because it was already 100. It was already 100. Let me press escape. Activate it again. I can read it here, radius is 100, so no need to click on radius and input 100 again. I can directly select the first line, the second line. Look, if I click on the second line, automatically the fillet will be deactivated. Why? Because it's a one-time command. It's a one-time you will do, and it will deactivate itself. I have to reactivate it, then I have to do it for this corner. It's finished. Again, I will activate it. Well, do we have an easier way? Sure we have it. Sure we have. Instead all the time I have to go and I reactivate it. Yes, we have an easier way to do it. So when we have fillet, when we activate fillet, I click on fillet, then I will make sure the radius is okay. Then there's something we call multiple. Multiple means that you can do multiple fillets, then you have to press escape to deactivate the command. So if I click on multiple, then I want to do this corner. It's still active, yes. I'll come here and I'll do this corner. Then still active. I can change even the radius. I'll click on the radius. I'll change the radius, for example, to, it was 100. Let's make this one 200. 200. Now this time I'm gonna click here, and here. Now it became 200. Still active, yes. Why? Because once you clicked on multiple, it can do multiple corners. Then if it's finished, if you're done, you just press escape, then you have the round corners. Now imagine if you see a shape like this, I need you to remember that this was indeed a rectangle like this. It was indeed a rectangle like this, but fillet has been used to make the corners round. This is something very important. It will help you to draw things much easier. I mean, instead of finding the length of this line, the length of this small line here, you will draw the rectangle and you're going to use fillet to make the the corners round. Now, fillet can be used with any other objects. Let's say I have two circles. I have a circle here and I have another circle here. Now I want to connect, for example, these two with an arc. The arc will be what? Tangent with a radius. That's basically, I told you that fillet can be considered as tan arc, which is not within the command of arc. If you remember, I told you we have some other commands that will use it to draw arc. This is one of them. Fillet is one of them that we will use it. They call tan arc. Tan arc. I suppose tan radius arc indeed, because there is radius as well. Tan radius arc. It's not within here. Two tangent, a radius and an arc is not there. So tan radius, we don't have it within arc command. But remember, fillet can be used. So if I click fillet, let's say for this case, I'm expecting for radius to be okay. So let's see if 200 will be okay. So if I select this one, look, if I just click on the first one, hover the mouse over the second one, it will tell you if you click here, this will be the arc that I will draw it for you. Tangent here, tangent here. Look, I didn't click on multiple, it directly finished. Repeating again, you click here. For example, the radius, I'm okay with it, 200. So before doing, if I click, it will be again gone. If you want to make it multiple, we said that you're going to click on multiple, then you can do multiple, for example here, and I want to do it even here. Then I'll press escape. This is how we're using fillet in AutoCAD. We can have any, let's say even there is an object like this, that two lines are not even connected, we can still use fillet to connect them as a round. So remember, this technique is good. If you don't know that the length of the line, you can just draw them with a correct angle, then you can make the corners round using fillet. I said I'm changing the radius to 100 here. 100 will be okay. Then click on the first one. Look, it will directly connect them together. So if I make it smaller, if I make the radius smaller, fillet, the radius, let's make it 20. Now if I click here, look, if I click here, what will happen? Look, it will extend the lines, and just simply somewhere it will try to draw the arc which is there. This can be used. Now, what will happen if you use fillet without radius, or the radius 0? This is one of the lovely technique that we use fillet for. Radius, make it 0. Click on this line, it will just connect them back together. Easily, it will connect two lines for you together. We will use this command, this technique with fillet. It's not made for this one, by the way. It's made for round corner, yes, but I can use it. Why? Sometimes we don't have the length of the line. So we just draw with a small part. Then let's say that we have a line here. Then there is another line here. Well, I want to connect them back together. Well, there is a way we can do it. Like from here, I will go up. I'm going to teach you this technique. From here, I will come and I'll find it. Look, I'm using this. I'm going to teach you this technique as well. It's we call extension lines. But instead of doing this one, I can just simply use fillet. I'll make sure the radius is 0. I'll just click on the two line. It'll simply connect them back together for me. Now, if you check the examples, the first example practice that I gave it on Moodle, those there, I told you part of them they are hard to do with. Why? Because the length of the line is not given. If the length of the line is not given, you will draw a small part of it, then you use this fillet, connect them together. Remember, please, in engineering drawing, we would like to do little amount of calculation. I want to use more of the techniques to do the drawing part. And even if you do hand drawing, it's still similar. We're using the equipments for hand drawing that we have them. We're going to use them in order to connect lines together without even knowing the length of them. This is still similar manner in AutoCAD. So this is the idea of using fillet for two things: for making sharp corner to round corner, to connect two objects with a tan radius arc, or can even be used to connect two lines that are far away from each other if they are going to connect, if there is an intersection. So if, for example, if I have a line like this and another line like, let's say that going in this direction, if I try to click them, they might not be connected. Why? Because they might be parallel. So remember, they have to have a way that some place to intersect. We can simply use fillet with a radius 0. It simply will tell us and finish, even draw the rest of it for us and connect those two together. So remember, this is the main object, the main idea of using fillet. So there is an example here. So the result is like this. You have a before. You can even draw a circle. Then this is how does it work. Fillet by itself, how does it work? It works in this way. There is this corner. It will draw a circle. Then it will trim this part, and this one, the red one, will delete them. It will bring it to this one for you, bring it to the final result. So you don't see these two in between. You don't see these two in between. Why? Because it's fast process, so you don't see those two. You directly from here, it will go to that part there. This is how the fillet works. There is an example here. You'll be able to do it. So you'll draw these lines, and you can use fillet to change it to this corner. Otherwise, the example of the solution is the step by step, but you can follow it by yourself to see how easily we can use this command fillet in order to make this corner round. And the other shapes they gave it to you, you will be able to see anywhere that you see a round corner, you'll be able to use fillet for that purpose. Thanks for watching.